All right, so now I'm about to inject the fertilizer. So into the irrigation, so it's called fertigation. Now, this is a dosatron, but you don't have to have a dosatron. You can have a little Venturi system. I'm looking for it here. I have this old one. And you can buy this little system right here for less than $10. And let's see, hold on. Sorry, I was going to try and take it apart, but it's frozen. But if you look carefully, the dosatron isn't that much different than this Venturi system. And how it operates is like this. So you have a water flow at the very bottom here, the 2-inch pipe on the bottom here. See, it's coming up. The flow's coming this way, and normally these valves are closed. So I'll just, close them. See, you can hear the pump. It's stopped now. But when they're open like that, then the water goes up and through your little injector this way. All right, now what happens with a dosatron is that it actuates a little pump inside here, and that pump then will suck the fertilizer through the hose out of your container, and I'll show it to you in a minute. So the way you control that is by opening and closing the valve between them. So this is a valve. It's an old style valve, but so let's see. Oh, that's opening it. So now I'm gonna close it. Let me put my hose right in here. Put right in my 2.5 gallons. Okay, and then I'll start closing the system. Now, if you had just a valve, some kind of like 2-inch valve there, manual hand valve, you just start to restrict that. Okay, you start to restrict that valve. Let's see, are we getting there? It's coming. Can you see it? Not yet. It's right here. It's going up the hose. It's going up the hose. See it there? Oh yeah. Each one of those pumps is taking fertilizer right in. Now the Venturi is just what that means. Venturi is you create a vacuum, that the water going through here in this specially designed piece of equipment is drawing a vacuum right here. As it rushes across here, it draws a vacuum, and then that pulls it up through that little smaller hose right there. See, same idea though. By restricting the flow through here, you force water through the system, and then that actuates the injector. So I think you can hear it, but I think I'll make it a little bit more rapid than that by closing this system. Hear it? Let's see here. I'm trying to look at this through the camera. I can't see. There. Hear it? Hear it picking up in speed? So I can adjust the speed of the material being taken out. Okay, so now what's going on? Well, I'm making cheap fertilizer. Most of that vat was water. But it's like I cook it. It's like making bread. You can put flour and water together and nothing. Maybe you can add an egg, maybe you can add some salt, and still nothing. But the minute you start adding yeast, you get a living organism effect. And that yeast then develops into and throughout the dough, and you end up with a different product than the combined products. And that's what's happening with the fertilizer that we're making there. We're adding the ingredients, and through the process of aeration and time, because now you're adding oxygen, and you have all these ingredients that are ripe for allowing organisms to grow. And so there they do their work, and they change. So it's not like 5 parts of humic acid and 2 parts of fish. It's a end product that then is going to go onto your soil and feed your soil, basically. If you've got organic matter available in the soil where it can hold on to and those organisms can feed, if you've got an environment that is partially shaded, so that they don't cook, then you're creating the right kind of environment for that biological system to activate. All right, so that was part 2, and how much of this and how much of that? Well, that's the other thing. I'm not an expert on this. I'm showing you what I've got. I'm following a recipe that I have. I just ordered a high-power microscope, so I intend to start looking at my finished product more now. If I add a little of this or do a little bit of that, how will I impact that batch of fertilizer that I make? And because there's so much water in it, I can actually now afford to put a plentiful amount of this material into the system, and I see really good responses from it. Okay, hope that helped, Antonio.